Hey guys, we are live. What is going on out there this afternoon? What's up? Hey, it's Brent Abel here, WebTennis.com. Another episode of the Tennis Mindset Project. Little tough love from time to time on why we've definitely got to embrace the mental skills required to be a competitive player. And I'm assuming that's who you are. That you're playing some tournaments, or maybe you're playing leagues, or maybe neither of those, but you're playing some serious competitive matches where you want to be on the winning end. I get it. Look, um, lots of times I play practice matches or sets where, you know what, I'm just working on something, and that's fine. That's kind of a different arena. But there's lots of times when I'm playing a competitive practice match where, you know what, we're competing like crazy. And even in practice, so much of it is how do you handle yourself mentally? Um, and I'm today going to talk to you about a singles match I played last year, actually the semifinals of the National Clay Courts in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And the stats are pretty interesting. Um, gosh, I hope, well, you know what I'm going to do here is at the end, I'm going to go ahead and put in the company that provided the stats. And off the top of my head, I forgot who they are, darn it. Anyway, my apologies for that. Maybe I should put it into the description area when we're done today. Anyway, look, before we get started today, let me get going here with my little presentation. Yes, there it is. Come on, baby. All right, there we go. There we go. Look, every morning at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific, I go live with a new episode of What's the Right Shot. Today we had episode number 370, and What's the Right Shot is based on two premises. Number one, where do you want the ball to land over there? And then number two, where do you want to move to next on the court? And what I do is I cherry pick a point from either one of my matches or someone else's matches, and I pick out one point, play the point until I pause it right as one of the players is about to make a shot. And I just ask you, what do you think's the right shot? So it's a great way to learn more about tactics, strategies, rather than just ad nauseum going all day long on stroke technique, which is not really, it's as if, well, if I keep working on this forehand, eventually I'll be able to hit a winner every time the ball comes over to my right. And that's just not a reality. So this is, look, obviously we've got to spend some time on swing tech, clean up some stuff, actually pare away the unneeded. But then what we got to really work on is shot choice. Where do you want the ball to land over there? And then how do you want to enhance that shot choice by where you move to next on the court? That's what we do every morning. Most of the time it's live. Occasionally from time to time I got to go pre-record on the thing, but daily 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific time zone. So look, there's a guy out there that if you're not following him, you need to. His name is Craig O'Shaughnessy, and Craig used to be on Novak's team as the statistician. I think I got that pronounced right. But that's what Craig is known for, is the math of tennis and how it works and how to really kind of create some strategies based on, and that was what he was doing for Novak. He would look at the stats of opponents, and he would help Novak devise tactical strategies based on what the opponent's stats over the last, matches, months, years, whatever they looked at. The other stat that I thought was really amazing, I think Craig mentioned this thing a couple of years ago, and that was that one year when Novak was ranked number one in the world, and he was far and away the best player. I don't know what his points were. I don't know what his ATP ranking points were, but they were way ahead of whoever was number two at the time. Could have been Rafa or who knows. But the point is that during that year, Novak won like 52 point, I'm throwing a number out here, but it's 52 point something points over the course of the year, meaning he lost, 47 point something percentage of the points in the year. And so really with that, and again, this wasn't like, 1 and 2 were really close at the end of the year. There was a huge gap between the two. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the stats from a match that I played like like I said, in 2023, the semis of the clay courts. And it's probably the closest match I had all year last year in singles. But what it really means is that mentally, you've got to be able to play really close matches. And I'm not talking about the course of the year. I'm just talking about let's whittle it down to one single match that you're into. And if you don't have the mental fortitude to hang tough, to have some clarity where you're only winning a hair over 50% of the points in that match, you're gonna cough up a lot. I mean, emotions are going to get part of it, and you're just going to cough up a lot of unforced errors, and and just not get the W. And so I used to do that. And, I mean, I was probably, I was always an A minus guy. I'm still some years definitely an A minus guy in my age group. Not always one of the top guys, but but one of the reasons that I've gotten better is because I've learned how to think between points during matches. Whether it's a match that, like, on paper, I'm going to win this match 10 out of 10 frickin' times, unless something catastrophic happens and I, break an arm or do something like that or fall down. I mean, that's the way tournaments are, right? You enter an age group tournament, and there's a chance that maybe in a round or two, if you're one of the top players, that you're going to win some matches 0-0. Okay. And what I found in the past was that I would get sloppy in those in terms of how I thought between points and how I thought on side changes. And when it got down to maybe into the quarters or the semis, I hadn't really kind of habituated the way I want to think, knowing this is going to be a close match. And so, trying to be comfortable losing 45% of the points is hard to do. And so I had to teach myself how to do that. I knew if I wanted to be one of the top guys year in, year out in my age group, I had to learn how to be okay with only winning 55, 54, 56% of the points, not only in a match, but maybe at the end of a tournament, maybe through the quarters, the semis, and the finals. That's what you've got to do. And look, if you're playing league stuff, in theory, the NTRP, don't get me started, because there are hopefully other rating algorithms that are better now. But if you're playing, let's say, at a 4-0 in a 4-0 league, just using that as an example, could be a 5-0 league, I don't know, whatever it is. But if you and your opponent in singles have the same exact rating label, in theory, we don't know who's going to win the match, right? It should be 50-50. If you guys play 10 times, if you guys have the same exact rating label, you should win 5 and the other guy should win 5, right? Okay. So how do you make that now to where it's not a 50-50 deal? Now it's a 55-45 deal. You're winning 55% of the time, or you're winning 60% of the time. How do you start to flip those numbers, or at least edge those numbers up? And the only way you can do it is not going out there and just working like a dog in your forehand, right? You've already been doing that, and that's gotten you to where you're going. That's gotten you to where you are now. That's great. That's great. I'm not saying that you shouldn't continue to try to tinker here and there, but it's all mental. And a lot of it is controlling stress, right? Meaning that if you're playing a guy who you're going to beat, you're a 4-0 and that guy's rated 3-5, are you going to beat this guy 10 out of 10 times? Probably. And that's a pretty relaxed match. There's not a lot of stress in that match for you, right? But once you get against someone else who's got the exact same rating label, now the stress level goes up. Well, do you know how to control the stress so that you're comfortable losing 45% of the points, which is reality? Novak losing close to 48% of the points over the course of a year. So let me just kind of bring up this. Let me see if I've got this here. I'm going to bring up this, and I'm going to make this a little smaller, so hopefully you will get a bigger picture of it here. So look, here's this match that I played, the semis, and here are the total points won, right? And I'll tell you, I won this match 7-5, 6-3. Straight set match, but close, right? We played 135 points. I won 75 of those points, which is a 56% winning percentage, right? Now, here's where it gets interesting, is Um, I'm going to look at, and I think this is how the numbers work. But the way that I want you to look at these numbers is this is percentage of points won by, and this software says plus, and plus is either an outright winner or what they call a really strong forced error, right? Not an outright winner because the guy over there could touch it, but they're still including it in this plus column. And if you look at my opponent's total, 88% of his points were won in the plus, meaning I remember the match vividly. This guy was hitting winners all over the place. I was trying everything I could think of to try to get, to try to get some pattern that might work. And for me, it was like, what am I looking at here? Okay, percentage of points won by the opponent with a minus, meaning an unforced error. Well, in his case, I only gave him 7 unforced errors, but he gave me 39. So either you're, in this case, maybe, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword, right? And what that means is I had to, in this match, I had to be really okay between points just after the guy would hit a stream of 3 or 4 winners in a row. He's painting the lines. I got no chance. Not getting frustrated, but maintaining some clarity as to, okay, what do we have to keep doing to probe here? What is it? Is there one little thing that you can discover over there that maybe he's not going to? And not that it wasn't like he was thundering in a big serve and I was just coughing up these short returns, right? I mean, that's not what was happening. I was playing pretty solid clay court tennis, and the guy would just sort of do this and do that. And I just go, wow, okay. So here's another stat that I want you to look at, which is percentage initiated by first serves. For me, it was 85%. So I had an 85% first serve percentage. Now maybe that's not so great in terms of, you might think, well, 85%, you're just kind of throwing it in there. Well, I'll tell you, on clay, I am just kind of throwing it in. I'm not just throwing it in there, but I'm trying to get some shape to my first serve. I want it to bounce up. I just feel like if the guy's in a little bit on the baseline or inside the baseline when I'm serving, and I can get the ball up around shoulder height with a bounce, that's at worst neutral. And if he backs up behind the baseline, maybe 2-3 feet, so by the time the high bouncer gets to him, it's now coming down. I like my geometric chances with that in terms of him being that far back. So his first serve percentage was only 52%. So, and again, I don't remember how many aces the guy hit. I don't think it says here. But 52% is just a steady diet for your opponent to be able to have a second serve, to be able to do something with. And again, I guess it says here, second serve, I only had 8 second serves. He had 37, right? I had 0 double faults. He had 7. Those are free points, right? Those are unforced errors. And percentage of second serve points won, 62%. I won 5 out of the 8. He won a little bit over half of the second serve points that he threw in there. I guess where I'm trying to go with this, I don't know if I explained these stats very well, but you've got to be able to go out there against a similar skill level opponent. And when that guy's having a day, I mean, really having a great day in the court. And I'll tell you, I used to be the poster boy for, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. This guy's playing out of his mind. Why me, woe me, whatever. And I'd get frustrated, probably got a little pissed off, might have said something out loud a little bit, might have even released the racket here and there. But what I learned over the years is that by watching the really good players, they never did that. They just never did that. And for me, I just said, well, so those top guys don't do that, but I do the opposite. I get hacked off, and obviously it's clear I'm getting pissed off. Even if I'm not saying anything, you can see the frustration. Maybe there's another way to do this. And so when I first started getting into the mental side of the game, let me take this back here. When I first really started to study the mental part of the game, I just thought, well, just don't show any emotion. All right, don't let the guys see that you're sweating over there, right? But for me, when I did that, like trying to be Mr. Stoic, Marcus Aurelius or whoever those Stoicism guys was, it just made me white knuckle between points, right? And then I'd get into the point and I'd be just frazzled. And so over the last 18 months is really when the whole mindset skills came into play for me. I did some studying. I actually worked with a couple of guys, did some sessions with them, and just kind of did some reading, video watching, and just kind of came up with 5 things that I said, well, look, I can do these 5 mindset skills, right? Training, habits, I can do these. And it worked. It just absolutely worked. And so part of it, part of the working was in the earlier rounds of tournaments where I knew I should be winning this match 100% of the time, really staying disciplined to what those habits have become and not getting sloppy, right? Not getting sloppy in matches that, I know I'm going to win 99 out of 100 times. And you're the same way too. I mean, if you play against someone, you've got your rating and you're playing against someone who's rated quite a bit less than you are, you're going to, I mean, I remember Pete Sampras once saying, I thought this was brilliant. Someone asked him, I can't remember what the question was, but his response was, I know I'm going to win 95% of the matches that I play. This is when he was 1 or 2 in the world. He said, I just know it. I know I'm going to go out there and 95% of the time I'm going to win the match. The other 5% of the time, I don't know if I'm going to win the match. So I've got to give myself the best opportunity to win that 5% by being mentally really strong. And it was never a guarantee in that 5%, but it was good enough to where the guy became one of the greatest players of all time. And so for me, I think this year I really settled into buying into the mindset skill stuff. And like I said, the earlier rounds where I know I'm going to win this match, don't get sloppy, be super disciplined to it. And then when you start getting later in the tournament where you now are getting into players that are you guys have the same rating label, the same rating number, whatever, can you still be okay with losing 45% of the points? Can you be okay with that? Can you hold on and trust that if you continue to do the right things mindset wise, so that between points you have clarity, here's how I'm going to start the next point. Even though the guy's been hitting winners all over the place, I'm not ever going to be, if I'm serving, I'm not going to be thinking, well, the guys on, the only way I can hold serve here is if I hit aces. Boom. Oh, there's their second serve. I wasn't thinking that, obviously, because my first serve percentage was over 80% in this match. So you got to have that clarity, and emotional control is the only way to do it between points, so that you have clarity how you're going to start the next point. And then that clarity works its way into the point itself in terms of what I talked about earlier with what's the right shot. It works into that clarity for shot choice during the point and where do you want to move to next on the court. So, yeah, there you have it. It's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal to start to learn how do you handle playing in a match where you guys are dead equal. And how do you become that player? How do you become that player that maintains the emotional control better than the other guy? How do you become that player where even when the guy, and this guy in this match twice, he was serving for the first set. He was serving at 5-4, I don't know, 40-30, right? I hit one of the few winners I hit in the entire match off that return, off a great serve. I was a little fortunate on it. I can't do that. Maybe, one out of 50 times I'll hit that shot up the line for a clean winner. And then the other time, I think he double faulted. My point is that well, I got a little distracted by Mark's comment. Thank you, Mark. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, and you're going to play close matches, right? You're going to play close matches, and you're going to put yourself out there, and you got to be really cool with a small winning percentage. And when you do that, when you're comfortable with that, you're going to win a lot more of those close matches. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, right? Nothing is, but it gets away now from, and I think with my opponent on this day, I think he felt that, okay, I've got to hit a few more winners to be able to get over the finish line. And obviously the stats show that he made a lot more unforced errors, or a lot in that minus column. So Mark saying he won half of his serve points, you won 2/3. That was the difference. Either he was over serving double faults and missed first serves, or you were returning really well and causing the problem. Yeah, could have been the difference. When it's on clay, I'm not saying that. I mean, I did have a better winnings. Well, I guess it gets down to the second serve percentage, really. And on clay, to me, there's just no point going for a big first serve on clay, especially at this age group. You're just not going to blow anybody off. And so to me, it just gets down to, let's just get the first serve and play it. Let's keep it neutral at worst. That's okay. I got the legs today. I'm in good shape. If we have to stay out here for, half the day, then we'll do it. Now, look, if this was a hard court match, might have been different numbers. But anyway, so I hope this message resonates today, guys. Look, what else have I got here for you? I want to make sure that if you haven't already done so, go on over to WebTennis.com. Just drop in a first name and email address over there, and you will get access to my free 20-minute video that explains my very specific 4 step-by-step between points routine. And this is a big deal. A lot of players have seen this, and a lot of players read it one time or watch the video one time, and then they go, oh, that sounds great. And they say, when I need it in that really close match, I'll pull it out. And it just doesn't work that way. At least it doesn't for me. When I first heard about this from Jim Lohr way back in the day, oh, great. And I ended up, and then, okay, well, he sort of gave me a framework. I hybridized it to make it my own. And then I would kind of leave it on the mental shelf until I thought I needed it in a close match or whatever. And it just never really felt authentic. It didn't feel natural. And so I practice it. I practice it every stinking day. Every day I'm on the court. And so, look, I'm going to give this to you. I want you to pick it up and do more than just watch it one time and kind of go, wow, that's cool. That's cool. I want you to practice it. It's going to take you a few minutes a day. Big deal. It's not that much time. So, guys, look, if you love today's episode, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel at YouTube, and be sure to click that notification bell so that you get alerted every time I go live and or upload new content. There you have it. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Time for all of us to get out there, help someone else have a great day. Guys, thanks for hanging out, and I will definitely see you again next time.